just because we've demonstrated that all of the competent leaders of a feminine persuasion are members of the Democratic Party. There's no reason that we cannot welcome a great male who is running for the governorship. Bill Kennedy has served his country in the United States Air Force. He is a businessman with an exciting career. He is a businessman making investments in one of the towns that used to be in my Senate district, Danbury. And I ask you all to give our final speaker, our final candidate for governor, a rousing welcome. Bill Kennedy, our third candidate. So that's Bill Kennedy. I've heard it every place I've gone. Who is this guy? So I'm going to tell you a little bit about me, and I hope everybody will appreciate the few anecdotes I give you now. When I was growing up, I got exposed to politics very early because I was a kid that was bullied because I was kind of meek-statured. My dad was in the military, so we traveled a lot, so it was hard to establish foundations, social groups. So I was chastised a lot when I was younger. So that molded me and tempered me very early. I ran into two young Republicans when I was very young, when I was 5 years old. And they were torturing a bird. And I'm going to use a metaphor here because that bird are the people that can't defend themselves. So I've become that voice for the people that can't defend themselves. Because what I did to get them to stop torturing that bird was I ran home, got some toys, and I traded for that bird. They gave me that bird. Unfortunately, it died. I don't want to put a solemn end to that, but I tried to salvage that bird. And that's kind of molded me throughout my life. In elementary school, junior high, I've always defended the ones that couldn't defend themselves because they needed somebody. And that's pretty much why I've decided to run. But I'm going to tell you another anecdote. I've been tempered by the military. There's a lot of conservatism in our military. As a matter of fact, I sympathize with Sylvia Larson because only about 20% of our military is kind of liberal or middle-of-the-road thinkers. Most of it is very far right. When I tell you I got my revenge in 2008, I was sitting in an office that was very pro-Republican. And everybody was energized about the fact that they thought they were going to retain majority in the Senate and the House. Everybody in this room should remember what happened. They didn't retain it. And guess what? All those guys I worked with didn't come to work because they were physically sick. That's how much it affected them. But guess who was really happy? Guess who even worked late? So with that said, I know I jumped in kind of late into the campaign, and it wasn't because I didn't believe Maggie or Jackie didn't really espouse party ideology, because I wanted to give you an alternative. I wanted to give you a fresh perspective, and there were a couple of people that weren't being brought along that I wanted to bring along, and that's the property owners. And many of them have lost their homes because of fixed incomes, because they've lost jobs and have no incomes. Our property tax system is regressive. Similar philosophies on that issue, and you know what? I heard about going forward. We need to go forward. No more of the status quo. We need to go forward. So, with that said, I think many of you know, I want to make one admonishment, if I'm allowed. And I know people are cringing because people know I speak my mind. When Governor Lynch was up here, you stood and clapped to almost everything he said, except when he mentioned that he was the governor of the greatest state in the greatest country. And I did not see anybody clap or anybody stand during that statement. Does anybody believe that we are the greatest state in the greatest country? People ask me why I put a dog on my campaign poster. Why didn't I put my lovely wife? She didn't want to be on the poster. But I wanted Governor Lynch on the poster because of his really, really vast smile. You know, I thought I might be able to get his endorsement. So I couldn't. So I got the endorsement of the closest guy to me, my running mate, my dog. So his smile is almost the size of Governor Lynch's smile. I think everybody knows where all three of us stand. We recently participated in a debate. And you know, we've given a lot of credit here, not credit, but a lot of homage to names on the Republican side. But we got a lot of great names on the Democratic side. We need to stop repeating the Republican names and start yelling the Democratic names. I've been a public servant for 30 years, between the military, firefighter, EMT in Northwood. I grew up in Portsmouth. Went through the public school system, went to the University of New Hampshire, and I've lived here for 45 years. So I've experienced the ups and downs of politics in this state for 45 years. Many will argue I've been out of state with the military, but guess what? By virtue of that, I've seen what works and doesn't work in other states and other countries. And the things that the Republican Party espouses now are the things that have brought down other countries around the world. We need to make sure we stand up to that radical right. You're going to have a loud voice this year, 2 years down the road, 4 years down the road, representing the Democratic Party. I won't step out. I'll be behind you. And I'm here because I'm representing the people that need representing. And I've always got an open door policy. I purchased the Inn at Danbury. If you're traveling that way, please stop in. I'd rather discuss over a tea, a coffee, or a beer, whatever your preference, and go back and forth on the internet on issues that keep us divided. We need to be united. And that's where I want to take us.